Hello, this is Ashley Applegate, and today we're at KWI on the couch, and we're joined by our office staff, Miss Lindsay Howell and Miss Jackie Foley. Jackie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm married with 3 kids, and one of the things we love to do is to go camping. We love cooking outdoors, hiking, and just the change of scenery. So with that being said, just KWI is here in my hometown, and I'm thankful for that. And because of that, it has ignited a passion in me to just do my job to the fullest and show people the area and what we like to do. And the impact that students and parents have had on me while I've been here has been immeasurable.
Yeah. And Lindsay, what about you? What are you from? What are your background?
I'm also from here. I'm married with 1 kid, and me and my husband, we raise a beef cattle and longhorns in Hillsborough, Kentucky. So we really enjoy that, and I really enjoy whenever the kids come in and they also have that kind of background in farming. Kind of seeing them switch from farming to welding is kind of different because that's what my husband does too. So it's neat to see all that different change of scenery, I guess you could say.
Okay. So in your official capacity here, what is your, quote, job title at KWI?
I am the Director of Admissions and Student Services.
All right. So what does that mean?
So basically, the Director of Admissions brings all the kids in, and I help graduate them out, so I get them prepared to come in, kind of figuring out what their start date's going to be like, where they're going to house, and then when they graduate, I help them, kind of get situated with making sure they send in their grad employment data and all that, and then the student services side of it, if they have a problem, they can come to me, and we can kind of figure out how to work through that problem that they're currently having.
Okay, so you're bringing students in, so I'm going to assume that while they're here, Jackie has some role in sort of their certifications or curriculums. Jackie, what do you do in your primary role at KWI?
So my title is Director of Finance and Administrative Operations Manager. That's
Okay.
a mouthful. So I'm kind of covered 3 things, and the main 3 is finance, obviously, operations manager, and certifications, like Ashley mentioned. So the finance portion, I kind of help with intake on that front. Students usually come to me just looking for maybe student loan opportunities, scholarships, just information about that stuff. I kind of serve in that student loan service officer role.
Okay.
And then the certifications portion, while students are here at KWI, I'm the one kind of submitting, scheduling, just all the certifications. And I'm tracking those so that way I can keep track of students that they're walking out the door with all those certifications that they actually paid for.
Okay.
Also on the backside, when they do graduate and leave, we keep all of that, and so that way, let's say you wash yours in the washer and dryer, or you lose them, or whatever happens, we have those on record and accessible for you here. And then the operations manager portion is, just as instructors are cycling in and out, I'm keeping up and making sure that all their certs are up to snuff, and then just kind of welcoming them back into their roles and hoping that they're encouraging students to show them new skill sets or just life, life skills that people are looking for out there in the real world.
Okay. So I'm sure you both field a lot of different phone calls and things. So Lindsay, you mentioned housing earlier. So if a student calls about housing, typically, how does that conversation portray? What do they ask, and what's your most common housing question?
So usually what they're going to ask is first, what do I have available just for my start dates? And then we got to look at what's available depending on if it's a single or shared room, housing availability, and then what the cost is going to be per location.
Okay.
It's always going to range there between those 3.
All right. So different price ranges for different rooms and different pay scales for the different rooms that they would have. About how many students do you think have relocated and live in KWI housing?
Probably about 95% of them.
Okay, so that's quite a few. So KWI has ample housing available for the students here. Probably what's the most difficult question related to housing that you've ever had?
Probably when is your next single room going to be available? Just because the students want that single room, they don't want to partner up with anybody.
Okay.
And then you got the parents that call in and they're wanting to know about drinking and partying in the house and kind of going there, and we don't allow that.
So KWI housing is alcohol free,
Mm-hmm.
right? And do you guys ever keep tabs on that?
Yep. So we do inspections every 2 weeks. So every new start date, we will do inspections, and then we can just randomly stop in.
Okay.
And check things out.
Yeah, that's cool. And Jackie, you mentioned some things about student financing.
Right.
So does KWI have a company they work with, so a student can't get a loan at their bank, we can help them out there?
Yes, absolutely. We've partnered with a company called TFC. It's just a loan company. There's a lot of flexibilities that's involved. So typically what will happen is I'll get an email or a phone call or sometimes a text just saying, hey, I'm interested in your student loan. And I'm just going to kind of send a bullet of data that's just going to kind of like give you the facts and what I need you to do to get you to that point to apply for a loan. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We just cover the tuition portion of each program. So I believe that for the PI program it's $14,000 now. So yeah, it's a pretty good thing for students.
Okay.
An option out there.
Right. So there's a lot of different, financing options for students and different things that can take place. So when you mentioned that $14,000, is that like the maximum that this company is going to loan toward that $20,000 pipe routing program?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So I think that makes the student have skin in the game, in other words.
Correct.
So they're invested into their own future. They got to make that commitment too. What's been, one student success story that really comes to the top of your mind? One thing that you really remember is, wow, I helped the student get here. What can you think of there?
One student that sticks out to me is actually Fernando Mercado.
Okay.
And I just think his tenacity towards welding and just in life in general was just inspiring for me. And then he was always asking good questions, and even the things that I did help him with seemed small at the time. I think really helped him become an even better employee and in person and all that. So he's a person that definitely sticks out in my mind and probably will forever be there, like in my heart and mind. And I heard that he's doing very well.
Yeah. For the last I heard, Fernando was making in the mid $50 an hour range. So he is doing great for himself and his family after training here at KWI. So Lindsay, how's your day start? What time do you come in? Are you first shift only, or how's that work for you? The day-to-day life of Miss Lindsay Howell.
Okay, so I work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. I come in, the first thing I usually do is check phone calls. That's
Okay.
usually the thing that's going to be the most popular is voicemails, phone calls, and then I go straight to emails. So that's going to be where I get all the kids that are signing up straight off of our website on the enroll page, check those, see who all enrolled the night before, put all them in, and then I'll start calling them and kind of making sure their start date that they picked out is correct,
Okay.
and kind of figure out, just let them know, hey, this is what our price is for the pipe program, structural fabricator. Do you have any questions about that, and what do you need housing wise? Are you going to be good on that side?
Okay, cool. And Jackie, what does your day go through each day? What do you do when you come in for KWI?
Typically, the first thing I go looking for is we have a gray box, down in our shop lobby. And I go unlock that sucker and just see, who's passed some certs or who's busted some certs, and just start kind of tracking those and submitting those, and just kind of seeing where the day leads. Sometimes it's a hodgepodge of things, but typically, I'm geared to figuring out where students are and like, are they meeting their goals, or how
Okay.
can I help instructors get those students to where they need to be.
All right, so some student success along the way as you go.
Yeah.
Earlier on you mentioned some instructors and instructor certifications. So the job interview process at KWI requires that instructor to be certified.
Right.
So they've got to take those 6 basic weld tests that all the other students have to do. Do you ever have to verify that the instructors have worked certain places, or how does that come into play?
Yes, so typically, we get their resume in and we're going back and calling like previous employers and just checking, hey, was this person a good employee? Did they show up on time? Like, what do they do for you? That type of thing.
Okay. And then when students graduate, Lindsay, is there anything that you do to make sure that they've got a job, or how are we keeping track of student success?
Yep, so they will get an email when they graduate, usually about the 3-month mark, just seeing if they've worked for 30 days within the first 3 months. If they don't answer that email, I'm bugging them.
Okay.
I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna text you, I'm gonna blow you up until you answer my phone, and let me know if you're working or not. That way I can go ahead and put that date in, and then after that, you don't gotta hear from me ever again.
Okay.
Until you wanna come in for brush up.
Yeah, okay. So when a student does come in for brush up, so they get 2 weeks a year free of charge for the rest of their career. When a student's coming in for brush up, how do you have a role in that?
So they will need to call in and just kind of check with us to see what date they want to come in, make sure it's available. I'll come back with you and just make sure they're good on that. Check their student files, make sure that they were here in time, make sure they weren't terminated or withdrew the program. And then once they come in, they're going to fill me out as another grad employment, just to make sure I have that on top of it.
Okay.
And then usually we do a survey, just to kind of ask them, you know, what do you think about KWI after you've gone? And then from there, we will do a Facebook review or a Google review if they would like to participate in that.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. So student success, and then that continuing contact and communication that we have with the students to make sure that they're in the industry, and I think make sure that the KWI training is relevant in the things that we're doing. All right. So I want to thank you guys for coming in and joining us. Today's been KWI on the Couch. So if you've got any questions related to housing or enrollment, then you're going to call in and ask for Miss Lindsay Howell. If you've got questions related to finance or previous certification, then you're going to call in and ask for Miss Jackie Foley. Thank you guys.